question about a complication, because we're well versed in complications, but I'd never heard about this until you mentioned this to me. I think it was last week or the week before. Okay. Complication that exists is watering down toxins in order to get your money's worth out of it as a practitioner. The mic's yours. Never heard about this before.
Oh my God, I'm going to get some hates on the comments of this one. I can just feel it. So I was trying to work something out recently. We teach complications. We live and breathe complications. We know everything that can go wrong. We've seen so many different complications. We've treated so many complications. And this has been for a long time now. So we really, I think, are quite well versed.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out, when we teach Botox, anti-wrinkle course, and then we teach the Botox afterwards, how can people get it so wrong on so many occasions? Because there's a lot of complications that happen with Botox. And what I've realized is something that isn't taught in Botox. You understand the dilution rates, you understand all of this, but you don't understand what happens if you dilute the wrong dilution. If you make the wrong dilute. People aren't taught what can go wrong under those circumstances.
Yes.
So when I've seen people inject, or I've asked questions after a complication's happened, and it seems like the technique was fine, everything went okay, but this complication has happened. There's a droopy eye, the mouth has drooped, other things that have gone wrong with the Botox. And I've tried to realize why, and I figured it out. It's because the Botox is being watered down too much. Because when you see Botox that is really cheap, we know what it costs to buy in good products. So if I now see Botox that's really, really cheap, and they're doing a full face for £100 or £200, whatever they're doing, and then you think about it, the Botox is being watered down. What happens if you water down Botox too much? The Botox is meant to travel, 1 centimetre?
Circumference,
1 centimetre. So if you water down the Botox too much, you're going to make that circumference a lot bigger. It's going to travel further. It's going to go into places you don't want it to go into. Yes. And you're going to get a complication. You're going to get a muscle that you didn't want it to reach. And it's going to cause a droopy eye, a droopy lip. It's going to cause these problems. So even if you're a practitioner and you think you've injected right, what did I do wrong? You've probably got the wrong dilute. Or you thought, if I just dilute this a little bit more, I can see 2 clients from this rather than 1 client from this. But that's going to cause a problem if you're not looking at where you're injecting properly and you're not in a safe zone. We dilute Botox for things like under the arms, various areas that we can dilute on the body, for example, where it can spread. We don't mind it. We want it to spread. In fact, if you have the wrong dilute and it's too concentrated under the armpit, that can be horrible.
Because it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, and it can be quite painful. So we want it to spread there, but we definitely don't want it to spread if we're injecting around the eyes. That's just so dangerous. And then you see people injecting towards the eye with the wrong dilute as well. Well, that can be just catastrophic. So what do you think?
That as a complication is catastrophic. Okay, that's the first thing. And the reason why I say that to you is because if you look at a complication that's gone wrong in with toxin injections, I'm not going to use the word Botox because that's a brand.
Yeah.
Incorrect. The reason why that happens is for 2 reasons only. First of all, you covered the first one, which is injecting in the wrong direction. So for example, if you're injecting, when you're doing the crow's feet, you inject away from the eye. Everything's away from vital organs. Okay. That's the first one. The second one is dilution. That's what it comes down to, because the sodium chloride or the saline or the bacteriostatic saline, whatever it is that you're using, acts as a vehicle to spread the product. So if you're injecting it between 2 muscle groups which either overlap or they're too close to each other and you want to target in this one, and the vehicle is too much, i.e. you've diluted it too much and then it spreads across, that's catastrophic. I'll give you an example of this. You know when you're trying to treat the downturned corners of the mouth?
Yeah.
This muscle here pulls down, which is the DAO, so we're trying to lift that back up, but the muscle adjacent to that is a muscle which holds the lip up. If you get it into the wrong place and it spreads over to this muscle, and when I mean they're in close proximity, it's very fine, okay? You're going to cause the lip to droop. That's just one example. The other example that you gave is for the eyelid to droop. I can't believe that practitioners would do this.
But they do.
They dilute the Botox more to...
The Botox is diluted.
And is this purely from a financial perspective?
It is from a financial perspective. It's one of the main reasons you see so many complications, because I've seen the technique of some of these people and it's good. Their technique is fine. So it must be that they've diluted too much or just not got the dilute right. So my thing is that when somebody is... One of our clients that came in the other day said to me that when they are before they came to start seeing us, they used to ask always for... the practitioner to make up the Botox in front of them. And I said, well, that's not always going to happen because no one's going to use a whole bottle of Botox on just you. They use it for, multiple people. But she said that they use the Botox and she wanted to see the dilute exactly as they did it.
Really?
And yeah.
Okay.
And I said, but how do you know what the dilute should be? And she said, well, I didn't, but I just wanted to see them dilute it in front of me. And I said, well, the dilute could have been completely anything and over diluted, and then there's a complication on you. So she had a droopy eyebrow, and then she was like, yeah, but I got a droopy eyebrow afterwards. And I said, well, it's probably because the dilute was actually wrong and you got the droopy eyebrow, not because they've injected in the wrong place. We always look at complications that someone's injected in the wrong place. They've done something in the wrong place. We don't actually look at the dilute side to it though. In Botox, we don't look at the dilute side to it. And it's a major thing that can go wrong. If the dilute's wrong, you're going to get a complication. Definitely.
Well, that's a major complication, because if you're going to look at my brain is referencing back to what it is that we talk about when we teach. Okay. Now, the difference between you have side effects of what happens. So when I mean side effects, I'm talking about like swelling, I'm talking about redness, I'm talking about, the commonalities.
Yeah.
And now what we're talking about is an adverse drug reaction or a complication.
Yeah.
And that's something which shouldn't have happened. So when we're talking about adverse drug reactions or complications, and examples of this is lid ptosis.
Yeah. But I was just talking about
brow ptosis.
Yeah.
I'm talking extreme examples, right? That shouldn't happen. What you're talking about in terms of it being diluted, brow ptosis and lid ptosis are most definitely on the radar when it comes to if you're going to over dilute. I just think that's crazy. I've just never heard that before.
I know, but we teach complications, and it's actually something that should be in the complications manual. Because when you think about it, if somebody gets the dilution wrong, then it's going to cause that problem.
Do you want to know something really crazy? And it's funny that you should say this. When it comes to teaching people, that's probably the hardest part to teach people.
The dilution.
Dilution, because it's maths.
Yeah, I know, but how many times have you tried to teach me that? I just don't get it. That's why I don't inject Botox, because I just don't understand it. I don't want to understand it.
Yeah.
I like what I do, and I stay to
I think that's one part of it that people get.
They do get it
Yeah,
wrong.
but we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
What we're talking about here is people doing it deliberately for financial reasons.
Yeah.
And to make
But they're
more
not
money
doing
out
it
of this.
deliberately to cause a problem. It's just for
No.
financial reasons, and then that can happen. But there are so many complications that can happen in aesthetics. And I think one of the main things is, and I think a lot of practitioners will actually like us for saying this, is that you can have complications and then you can have reactions. A complication and a reaction aren't always the same thing. Sometimes we get swelling from having products put in our face. We get more swelling than others. If I do my lips swell up so much. That's not a complication that's happened. It's just swelling. It's just a reaction to the product. When you have a lot of people that are calling their practitioners saying, oh, something's happened, and they always think it's a complication. These aren't complications, they're just reactions. Think about how many people can call and say, oh, I'm really swollen here, or I'm really swollen there, or this has happened. And sometimes even from skin boosters, people can get swollen up. But there's a very big difference between a complication. A complication is a VO, vascular occlusion. A complication is your eyebrow dropping, your eyelid dropping, or your lips dropping. These are complications. And I'm not using medical terms. I'm just saying it as it is so that everyone can understand what I'm talking about. But complications and reactions are very, very different.
Yeah.
And people run to, oh, this has happened, but it's sometimes just reactions to things. There is one thing I will say, though. I do think that a lot of practitioners need to be a bit more careful when it comes to skin boosters, because there are so many skin boosters out on the market now, and the medical questionnaire on allergies and things like this is not really comprehensive enough for perhaps the ingredients of a skin booster. Do they even know what's in every skin booster? Has every practitioner looked at every single product they have and seen every single ingredient in that skin booster? I know we've probably got about 2 or 3 I haven't used yet, but I haven't even looked at the actual ingredients of what's inside them. If that is the ingredients of what's inside them, you've also got to be very careful where you're getting your products from. So I do think that we do need to be a bit careful. Like polynucleotides is one of the main things we see a problem with, because people with fish allergies.
Oh, yeah.
Or some people don't even know they have a fish allergy. So that should be on the top of every questionnaire when it comes to injecting anything like polynucleotides, is, do you have a fish allergy? And there are other vitamins that you inject, and maybe it's not just vitamin C. Maybe it's vitamin C and PDRN. Maybe it's got these extra things in it. Amber is another one. It's got succinic in it. It's got PDRN in it. It's got so many different things in that vitamin profile that you need to understand exactly what it is you're injecting as that person. They could be allergic to 2 of the products in it. So I do think that in order to not cause a complication from skin boosters, a more comprehensive look on their profile needs to be done first of all.
I know we're moving away from the whole saline dilution thing, and we're moving on to this, but even with me,
No, but this is about complications.
But the rate at which products are coming out at the moment and the speed of that, including some of the products that we have and we've introduced. I mean, we don't introduce anything within our clinic unless we've tried and tested it, and we've kind of have an idea of what's inside it and whatnot. But yeah, the rate at which they're coming out at the moment, I think practitioners need to become a little bit more educated with regards to the products that they're using, and they need to get everything in order, like you just said, with the consultation forms, to ensuring that everything is. Yeah.
And as the patient, I think patients need to say, what's in that product? What are you injecting into my face? Like, what's exactly in it? Because you need to be held accountable for what, the information that's being given across as well. My point is that every complication is not a complication. Sometimes it's just a reaction. Sometimes it's just swelling. And we need to look at what a complication actually is. Complications are serious. And I'd say 8 times out of 10, things aren't complications. They are reactions and things that can be fixed quite easily.